All right, guys, back with another weekend video. Got to focus here. Feeling a little bit drowsy. Don't really want to do this at the moment. Again, this page is only truth and only truth will be told, so I have to be extremely honest at all points. And if that's me saying that I don't want to do this, even though I should be acting like I do, then I wouldn't be telling the truth now, would I? Now, the reason why I'm so tired is because I just got back from the gym. I did 3 hours on biceps like a true athlete's supposed to and came home to house 8 eggs with 4 pieces of cheese. So not really feeling the best to put on a video that sit here for talk for an hour and a half. There's a lot of other things I could be doing on my Saturday night. But that's the thing about life is if you're able to push through and make some progress, even in the tough times, then chances are you're probably gonna do it in the times that you want to do it. So that's just a little bit of life advice. But before I go on with this video, I need to address something. If you're gonna call me a sellout for putting ads on my page after working basically slave labor for the past 7 months so I could get monetized and make $11 a video, then adios, buenas noches, hasta luego, nighty night. I don't need you here to do what I'm doing. You need me way more than I need you. Trust me. I do like the fact that this page is like a community and everybody's posting their comments on my page about if they can get this reviewed, if you can get that reviewed. This thing's got some DD that looks good. This chart looks hot. That's what this page is for. It's a community of people sharing information. And if you don't want to be a part of that because you have to watch a 30-second video and you don't have the attention span to do so, then goodbye. Sorry, I had some technical difficulties there. As you know, I was born in a computer lab, but sometimes the computer is just not, it can't keep up. Let's just say that. But I wanted to talk about gauging the sentiment today. A real easy analogy to help you understand it is think about it as a herd. Okay, and each cow in this herd has a stack of money on it. Okay, and the herd, those cows are actually dumb money. Those are your traders in the market that are chasing FOMO, that are buying the top, that are selling the bottom. Those are the people you have to take advantage of. Those are the people that you have to lasso money from. So the best type of trader is somebody that can hear that herd coming before a lot of other people do. Those are the winners. You hear the herd coming. There's ways to do this, and I'll get into it. You hear the herd coming, and then once they get there, and the hooves are extremely loud, and they're right in front of you, you have a very thin window, a certain amount of time to lasso one of those cows, one of those dumb investors, and take their money. That's all it is. If you can just realize that that's all the market is, where there's going to be a winner, there's going to be a loser, and you actually need dum-dums to make money, then it makes everything a lot clearer, a lot more vivid. Okay, so when you think about it, basically what I'm saying is, if you have a stock that nobody's really talking about yet, okay, but you know that there's a rumor out for 2 weeks ahead of time from the day that you're thinking about this. And that rumor is pretty significant. It's a pretty solid catalyst, right? So you find out that information. That's your first step. Okay, good. Perfect. You get in then. You start to accumulate wherever your target is. Get in then. Then you just simply wait 2 weeks. And as that catalyst approaches, the herd will come. You have to have the right catalyst. You have to have something that's going to draw attention. You have to have a stock that has eyes on it. Okay, those are all other things. But if you can find that, that is your first step. The second step is waiting for the herd to get there and just waiting and waiting. Not focusing on the boards too much, not getting married to it, not doing too much DD, not over investing. So when it comes time to sell, you're green in the eyes with greed. You buy, you wait for the herd to come. You know where the top's going to be, whether it be the day before the catalyst, whether it be 2 hours before market close because it's peaking. That's when you sell. And that's why buying the rumor and selling the news is extremely important. And the people that do so, especially in the OTC, are the people who win. That's the smart money. The dumb money are the people that aren't focused on the market and they're waiting for the day of when the herd is the loudest and they join the herd. Then they get lassoed, their money gets stolen from them, and they wonder why. Because you cannot expect to make money if you're buying after everybody else already has, and the smart money's selling and the dumb money's buying. Okay, I could sit here and talk about this till I'm blue in the face because it's so important to hear as a new trader. Some of you aren't going to listen to me. Some of you are going to chase the next shiny object. Some of you are just going to want to be a part of a community. Some of you are just going to want to feel good on the boards, and you're not going to listen, and that's fine. But I'll tell you, I've been doing this for quite some time, and I've put in my 10,000 hours, and I'm finally starting to understand. It takes some people a little bit longer. So it took me a good 6-7 years, but just in anything, it takes time to master something and to become fully aware of what to do and what not to. So take my advice or don't. I'm not telling you here what stocks to buy and what to sell. I'm simply guiding you to what works and what tends to not work. Holding long in the OTC, let's say you buy a Trip 3 stock and it runs to 2 pennies and you have paper gains of $1 million, but you don't take advantage and you don't sell, and it will almost 99.99999% of the time come back down to your average, and you'll be sitting there like, I was up $1 million and I didn't even do anything. That's suicide watch, okay? You know what's not suicide watch? When you have that much money in a Trip stock and you sell for 100% and you move on to the next one and you don't have paper gains, it's already in the bag. Sure, it could run to 2 cents. Sure, it could run to 3 cents. You're just going to have to live with that, okay? You're just going to have to deal with that because it's a lot easier to deal with that than to deal with going up $1 million or whatever it is and down back to break even. That is when you murder your whole family. Your kids get taken away. What kids survive the shootout. You go to jail for the rest of your life. You are a bottom biatch to a guy named Ed. You don't eat because your food's stolen every day in jail. And you simply get hepatitis and die. So don't be a part of the herd. Don't be a part of the dumb money. I'm really serious about this. You have to pay attention to this. You have to listen to me on this one because I'm 100% right. I am unquestionably 100% right on this. Now, how do you gauge that sentiment? One of my best tricks and how I found my most recent flip, FCGD, was because I was up late at night and I always look at the bottom of the most, don't look at the breakout boards. Look at the most read boards on iHub. I'm a little bit old school. When you find things trending on Twitter or when you find things trending on StockTwits, that's the herd. When you find something on the most read boards creeping up the list, maybe you haven't. Now, I'm very familiar with almost every stock in the OTC, pretty much. So when I'm very familiar with that list, make yourself extremely familiar with the most read list on iHub. There's about 20, 30 stocks, probably 30, 40 stocks. When you start to see one creeping up that you haven't seen on the most read board, start to do your DD. FCGD popped up. FCGD, I had actually personally never heard of it. I said, okay, why is this getting eyes? Why is the board getting read so much? Went to the board. Okay, let's start going over our DD here. This is the fundamental. This is how you do DD. You don't look into the financial statements and get all psyched out about what could be. You simply find a rumor. Okay, so I go into FCGD and I see, oh, okay, May 15th, merger date expected. Okay, that's a catalyst. You got my interest now. Is there volume? What's the price? Where do I plan on buying? Who's the posters? Is there a lot of bullishness or is it pretty much even? Is there a lot of bearishness? I take all these. What's the share structure? What's the volume? Then I pick a spot. For me, it was 4. It was trip 4. I said, there's no chance this close to the merger 15th date, May 15th date, then I'm going to be able to get 3. It won't happen. But it's a trip stock. So all you have to answer, there's so many different analysis points that you have to go over. You have to know which ones to look for. That's what I'm saying. That's why it takes a long time to really understand this. It's not really that hard once it clicks. And it's starting to click for me real well. Okay, the merger date's too close. I'm going to go for 4. I'm not going to slap 5. If I don't get 4s, then I don't buy the stock. I'm going to wait and I'm going to watch, and I'm not even going to sit on the bid, because if I sit on the bid, it could change the idea and maybe people don't sell into it. Maybe I don't get the shares. So I'm going to lay off the bid so it looks like a weak bid, knowing that I'm there ready to hit it for 20 million shares. First day, didn't happen. Didn't get them. Fine. Kept cash on the side because I knew that this was my best opportunity to make 50 to 100% in 3 days. So this is my strategy. This is all going on in my head. Wednesday morning, I actually had drank the night before for some reason, and I was really hungover, but I said, they might get sold out in the morning. They're going to have to, because if they don't, it's going to get too close to the date and you're going to miss out on the 4s. I woke up, I was hungover, and I stared at my screen. And as soon as it got liquidated through the 4 bid, and as soon as they gave me an opportunity to buy 4s, boom, smacked it with 20 mil. It was probably a 2-minute window. So I had to be staring, but that's the work. You don't want to get up and stare at a phone. You don't want to go over all this DD and actually coming up with a strategy and putting in the work. You won't make money. So 2-minute window, boom, get it. Maybe 30-second window now that I think about it. It was literally like one of the hardest things to do, because then the bid grew and there were some sells into the 4 bid, but chances are you're not going to get them. Somebody's going to be stacked on top of you. You're not going to get the share. Thursday comes along. This was Wednesday morning. Nothing happened all day. Thursday comes along. Low volume. Doesn't look that great. Friday was the day. And I said, look, I'm either going to sell out 4, break even, which is fine. I'll live with that. I'll waste the 3 days, and at least I didn't lose money in a trip stock, which are extremely risky. 5, oh my God, I didn't think it was recording. 5 gets blown out Friday morning. 100 million, 120 mil ass smack. I'm like, yes. Okay. Now I'm up $2,000. Sick. But my work's not over yet. Is the herd going to keep coming? Is there enough excitement, enough eyes, enough volume that's going to get me through 6? Am I going to be able to sell 6? I'm not sure. But one thing I definitely don't want to lose out is on the $2,000, because if that 5 bid gets whacked and I'm not able, and it gets stacked and there's not enough interest, then I'm going to sell break even and miss out on $2K. So what I do? The entire stinking day, I stared at my screen. Stared at it without missing a beat. That's the work. If that 5 bid started to get pulled or started to get knocked out, taking my $2,000 and I'm running for the hills and I'm living with it, and I'm fine with making $2,000 in a couple of days. Okay. End of the day, 12 o'clock. Here we go. Here's the herd. And that's what this whole entire time I've been talking about this. What was I doing? I was hearing the herd a mile away. And then once it got close, once the hooves start, I start looking at the iHub board. Everybody and their mother is bullish as hell. Everybody and their mother is calling out it's going to $1. Everybody and their mother is saying this is the next big thing. The merger's going to close and it's going to gap up 400%. Everybody and their mother was there. And I'm telling you, most of those people that were there and bullish, most of those people that have a lot of followers that were bullish, you know what they were doing, right? They were selling with me. That's why they've been in the market for so long, to accumulate so many followers, because they're taking money from the dumb money. They are the smart money. So was I. Why? I'll tell you why. Because I made $4,000 in a matter of a couple days. If you're going to call me a burger boy for that, then you're probably just lying to yourself because you're not able to make money in the market. But if you can make 4 grand in 2 days, that's $2,000 a day. That's probably like 600 grand a year. And you're going to belittle that, then fine. I don't, cool. I'm the biggest, I'm a burger flipper to the core of me. Made my 4 grand, and guess what? Now I don't have to worry. It's not paper gains anymore. I took it to the bank. I said, hello, hi, how are you? And they said, nice to see you again, Mr. Carlin. What would you like to do? And I said, oh, I'd like to make a deposit. How much? $4,000. Oh, did you get your yearly bonus at work? Did you just shoot a movie for Hollywood? No, no, no. I simply heard the herd and lassoed one of the dum-dums. And I stole their money. No, 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 don't call the police. It's completely legal. I'm allowed to do that. And they said, okay, thanks, Mr. Carlin. We trust you. We see you here a lot. Your money is good with us. Spend it how you will. So maybe that was a little long-winded. I'll have to go back and watch this, but you get what you're going to get. I don't have any script here. I go off the top of my head. But what I'm saying is coming from somebody that knows a thing or two. You're not going to get this information on anybody else, any other pumper's page. This is the information this is why I started this page, is because I wish I knew somebody like me when I started. And even if I did, I probably wouldn't have listened to them. But that's the thing, is sometimes in life, you have to put in the work. You have to put in the years. You have to put in the hours, the days, the minutes, the seconds. You have to do your own work. If you're expecting to find somebody to just follow their tips and make millions of bucks, good luck, because if that existed, don't you think there'd be somebody that everybody followed? Gauge sentiment correctly. Learn how to hear the herd before it shows up. Don't be a part of the dumb money. Take their money. Take it to the bank. Deposit it. Get to know your banker. And you'll be living a very happy life in the market. Don't get attached to these turds. Don't get all excited and start running numbers in your head about how much money you could make. Take what the market has for you. Take what the market is willing to give you, and realize that any gain is good. And that's it. You keep that in mind. You're able to figure out what you need to do and not what you want to do. You will be successful at this. And if you don't listen and you just go with the pumpers and I'm just going to gamble and I don't even care, then you'll die. You'll die of hepatitis C in a jail in the middle of Wyoming, max security, with a daddy named Ed. Period. So that's what I have to say today. I didn't expect it to speak that long. I'm actually going to cut it here because I need to shower. I feel gross. When you're in the gym for 3 hours doing max lifts, you're going to feel a little grimy when you get home. So let me apologize. Let me go get in the shower, feel a little bit better about my skin, and I'll be back. All right. Yeah, I feel a lot better now. So I'm going to try and run through these quick because I really this can't be a 3-hour video. I do have about 35 charts to go over. This is another part of this is another part of your analysis that needs to be done, is going over the charts, whether it be a night on a weeknight or over the weekend, and figuring out a plan for the next day. If you do that, you're going to avoid, and you actually stick to the plan, you're going to avoid getting in chasing and FOMO. And trust me, make it a habit. Just go over your stuff, figure out what you want to buy, pick your spots, set your bids, and go about your day. And guess what? If it doesn't get picked up and if nothing gets executed, you live to fight another day. You just have a scratch. You don't have to deal with the headache of the market as it is, and then you just live your life. But you don't want to just go into the market just doing whatever you want and winging it, because that's, again, dumb money. So we're going to start with FCGD. This is the one that I just went over, so I'm not going to really talk much about it, other than the fact to say that, yes, this looks like it's breaking out like crazy. This is my prediction, and remember, I don't know as much as the next guy. All I'm doing is going off of historical numbers and what tends to work and what tends to not work, and I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt in my mind, they are going to delay. I've never seen it happen on time, ever in my life. So I'm not going to think that it's going to change now, even if it does. And even if they do come out with news and the price runs 5,000% and I can't even get shares, whatever, dude. There's another. I'll have other stocks on my plan and in my strategy that I focus on. Then I let this one go. It's just a stock. It's not your wife. So it looks great. But what I'm going to, now they might not even mention a delay. So even during the day Monday, maybe the price goes up to 7, 8, fine. I'm okay with that. But I'm not going to chase it because I'm excited and I need shares or whatever. Because if a tweet does come out that says that, we need a couple more weeks or the merger fell through or whatever, it will gap down and it will gap down hard, and it is a trip stock and you can lose money hand over fist if you're not smart. So my prediction, I'm not saying that this is what's going to happen. This is my opinion. I think that they are going to tweet something out that it is going to take a couple more weeks. And what's my plan for FCGD tomorrow? Well, or on Monday, I would plan that it's gonna get delayed. They're gonna release a tweet about it, and it's gonna pull back to 2. It's gonna oversell to 2. So let's say that tweet comes out pre-market. I set a bid on 2, and I sit it there. But I'll only do that realistically if they say we need until the end of May or we need 2 more weeks. Then I'll buy simply 2 weeks out, wait for that date to come up again, and do the same thing over again. But if I can get in at 2 now, I bought 4, sold 6, get back in at 2, wait the 2 weeks, hopefully get out at 4 again, and then I'm making money. Whereas if I would have just bought 4 and held, then I'd be probably break even going into the next catalyst. So you see how that works. Your technicals are overbought in the sense that the MACD is pretty high, even though that this MACD has gone wild before. So I'm not even going to call it overbought on anything. This is more of a fundamental situation, a catalyst situation. So that's all I have to say about FCGD. I hope that it goes up. I really do, because most of the people that are involved on that board are actually pretty nice people, and they're shooting their shot. And I hope that it goes in, to be honest, because I've already made my money and I'm happy with that. I'm happy with what I have. I don't need to dwell on it anymore. So good luck, guys, on Monday. CNNA. Low battery, good. CNNA is something that I'm paying attention to because, again, there's a catalyst that's upcoming. It's a filing that they haven't filed in a very long time. I don't even think that they're pink current. It's been a long time. I have to do a little bit more DD to find out how long they've been stringing this along. Supposedly, they're getting an audit done on their financials. So once that drops, I mean, that's something where you might not want to sell the news, or you might want to sell that day, sure. But pick your spot. I'm calling for next resistance. That's where I'll sell, and that looks right at 3.8. I'll probably put shares up at 3.5 because I know I'll bid 2 tomorrow, even though that middle band is 16. I'll start to accumulate at 2. Because they said a couple days. So again, I might not get that bottom of 16. I'll start accumulating at 2. I'll probably do a smaller amount, and see where it goes from there. If they do come out with the actual 10K, I expect it to push on that day, but I don't expect it to push over 4. And if it does, I don't care. I'm going to take my 3.5, which would be a 75% gain, and I would go to the bank, say hello to my banker, and deposit the cash that can easily be spent within minutes. That's what I'm in the business of doing, not holding forever and not having anything to spend. I want to eat. I want to go to the movies. I want to purchase new shoes. And you can only do that with realized gains. Unrealized gains get you nowhere. And I don't want to hear about the taxes. Stop with the taxes, okay? You got to make money to pay taxes, first of all. And I'll cross that bridge when I get there, after I've made a crap ton of money. Okay? So CNNA, I'm liking a buy-in at 2, and I'm liking a push to 3.5 to 3.8, somewhere in that range. RGBP. Now, this one has got my attention because, yes, it was up 30%. I don't really like buying the highs. Looking for a pullback, setting my alert at 185. 185, if I can get that on Monday, I'm going to be sweating that buy-in because your technicals are turning up. You're not overbought. You're in the hot zone on your RSI. Your MACD is turning up and just starting to get bullish. Your volume is consistent and rising. You're at resistance, sure, but I'm expecting a pullback in the morning. It did close at the high of the day, so I could be wrong. But my strategy isn't going to be chasing and thinking, oh my God, it's going to get away from me. No, I don't even look at the stock. I simply set my alert at 185. I do have cash on the side. Maybe I even put some money on 190 tomorrow and don't even look at it. And if it gets executed, chances are I'm going to be in a good situation. If it doesn't, then I miss out on a run and I'll find something else. But I do like the fact that it's closing above this middle band. I do like the fact that everything else I just said and the fact that it's been absolutely demolished since the reverse split, but it's been holding up pretty steady. It's stabilized in this area. It's showing bullishness. There's a lot of people that are into this stock. So I am on it like a hawk. I like this one for Monday. Keep it close watch. Jizik, GZIC. Let me plug my phone computer in. And yes, I'm wearing a moon mask because I literally haven't taken a loss in like 2 weeks since the beginning of May. I'm pretty much out of the hole, any hole that I've ever been in. I figure a way out and I did it again. And now I'm pretty much, I'm sitting on money now. So I'm already looking at AMGs. Why go from A to B when you could go AMG? I actually just came up with that and it was brilliant. Holy hell. I will use that again. GZIC. Now, it says it closed up 30% for some reason, and it is on the daily, so I don't know why it's showing a red candle. I guess because it gapped up. Here's the thing now. Yep. Now, this is what you have to be I'm glad I pulled this up because this actually fooled me until right now. That's why you have to be very vigilant about the DD. You need volume and you need liquidity. Unless you're trading like $2, you need liquidity. That's why this is so important because I see 161,000 shares were bought or sold on that day. And the reason why I knew this is because it wasn't a green candle. So it's a very thin stock. The bid and ask spread was probably just getting tapped all day, and that's what so it started out. Whatever. I'm not going to get too deep into that, but either way, not enough volume. Even though it caught my eye with 30% gain, no volume whatsoever. That's like literally $400. Nah, sorry. Kittle. Now look, this is a great stock to trade. It does have a pretty good story being told. It can break out at one point, but there are people on that board that I know of personally that are definitely dumping on you. They're definitely selling at the tops, and they're saying the whole time that it's going to $6. Trust me, they're not sitting on their hands. Trust me, they're not holding. They are selling. Trust me. But this is a flipper's dream. Every time it has a big pullback, it has a spike, pullback, spike, pullback, spike. Could this be the time that it runs? Sure. But again, I'm gonna set an alert for up here. So if it has strong volume and it's had a lot, maybe in 2 months it goes off because it's had a lot of consolidation, it goes up to here and then it breaks through. I'll buy that breakout, no problem. But I'm definitely not going to buy here. And the reason why is because it's trading this trend line, it's trading this channel, and I'm going to look to trade within that channel until a breakout is confirmed. So, I'd be selling here and then I'd wait for here and then I'd buy it again. And I'd sell it here again and I'd buy it again. And like, would I just go with the chart can only tell you what's happening or what's happened. It's not going to tell you the future. So I've seen what happened now, and I'm trying to predict the future by history. And that's how you trade. So it doesn't even look overbought here, fine, but if you don't take the money off the table, other people will, and you'll be holding the bag, or you'll just be break even up. SEII. Now this one's getting volume, and this is a very low stock. It's up a little bit. It's kind of smoked. Okay, you are at a resistance here. This used to be support. It's become the new resistance. That's why it stopped there. Your RSI is at 77. Your MACD isn't turned up pretty much at all. Your volume is coming in pretty heavy. But as you can see, it's pretty much respected this orange band. So that's what I'm looking for a pullback to. I'll have to go over the news and what came out and what's causing this uproar in this stock. But either way, you break through this resistance. Right around 2.3, you start to get above that, you could go to the next one, which seems to be about 5. So it still could have 100% move on this. Your technicals can stay hot for any amount of time. You just need the volume to continue. But we're going to have to track this pretty closely. Again, I'll watch it. This isn't one that I'm trying to buy tomorrow because it's just it's up 90%. So I don't want to chase this, and I don't think it's going to pull back too harshly. So keep that one on your radar. This is one that obviously has something going for it, obviously has some eyes on it. So we're going to keep track. KBLB, this one had a big day on Friday. Big day. Now see, like here's another example. Trading a range, buying, selling, buying almost, even though it didn't come back down to the lows. It's kind of stayed on this upward trajectory. And then boom, it came out of nowhere with some pretty solid volume. Even though the volume isn't that high, pretty thin stock. Your technicals, RSI is a little bit hot. Your MACD is pretty pumped up, but this thing could keep going. I'd have to zoom out to see a little bit better what's the resistance, which I can see that now. It pretty much is at it. It was a previous support that it broke, fell. Now it's back at it. I don't know that it's going to get rejected here. Again, I can't tell the future, but I'm just bringing this up because it is a hot stock, and I just want to go over this with the people that are going to listen. I know that you want me to just be bullish because you're in it and you just want to hear good things. But if you want that, then go to a pumpers page that's going to lose you money. I would say if you're up significantly in this, it's time to sell. I would not recommend to buy here. I'm sorry. That's the way that it is. It might not, if you're a very long holder and you've been accumulating down here, that's up to you. Everybody has a strategy. Do you? But I do flip stocks, and I would recommend that if you were anywhere in here, I would sell it, wait for a pullback to one of the previous resistances, and take it from there. T-Glow, this is when opportunities come up, when you see an oversold chart on nothing, like if there was nothing that came out, reverse split, the CEO selling shares, any type of bad news that causes a stock to drop, what that usually could be is very low volume, and there's a larger seller that just wants to get out and move on to something else. If it doesn't have a lot of liquidity, that can happen. If that does happen, chances are, because there was no bad, the market will return to kind of where it was if it was just a pretty much random sell. So that's why you see drops like this. You go to the boards, find out if anything came out. If it didn't, it's a good buying opportunity. You buy, and then the next day it goes up 28%, and now you're probably going to go back. Now you're hitting that line there, this trend line, but you also have an overhead to 19. That's the middle band. You could possibly get back there. If you do, then that's great. That's another 20%. Your technicals are oversold, so it wouldn't be the most insane thing to hold here. You might have just got a really good deal on a pretty good stock. It's even low as it is historically. So Teague low, good on the people that grabbed it, good on the people that held through this, and that's your technicals. FIFI, FFEIE. 25% here. Let's do a 5-year chart, which is going to bring up the weekly. This thing looks very, very good on the weekly. You had this, you had the push, you had the pullback. You're starting to turn a little bit, kind of before it ran like this. Now this one's going to be, now this is a weekly. It's not the daily chart. I like the week. I like the look of the weekly chart. I'll tell you that much. It looks like a W is forming here. This might now, when you do the weekly, you're seeing a little bit that that chart has stood the tail of time for a little bit longer. Month will give you a better idea for the longevity of whatever. This is if you're an investor or longer holder. You probably are looking at monthly charts. I don't look at 15. That's day trader. I tend to look at the daily, stick to one, and I master it. That's my strategy. But I do like the look of the weekly here for an extended hold, a little bit more of a long hold. FFIE, pick your spot, know where to buy. Always wait for a pullback, wait for a dip or miss it. But I do like FFIE. I do. AABB. I'm not even going to get into what I think of this stock, but this, again, we don't care. It doesn't matter. What we care about is it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where this is going in the future. It doesn't. It just matters what's happening right now. And right now, it looks extremely bullish. This is the weekly where you've seen pops like this and pullbacks, pops like this and pullbacks, and it's doing that again. But let's pull up the daily on this one, and we're going to see, it doesn't give you the best look here. So we're going to stick with I mean, you can get the idea. This thing ran really hard back in 2020. This is the herd. This is when you really get a herd coming in, a massive herd. But then it just got diluted down to the core of the earth, which obvious. This was the front load. This is when all the pumpers bought in, the people that were privy, the insiders. Then they just waited until the actual event came up, and boom, they went up. They sold for millions and millions of dollars, stole money from a bunch of people, and then diluted it back down to this price. Now, that's fine. But I do like it. That doesn't matter because that's already happened. I'm looking at what's happening now. I like the fact that it had a 20-cent increase. It seems to have trouble with 4. So if this thing can get over 4 with some strength, it does have the volume, it does have the eyes. You might want to start to think about buying because it hasn't been above 4 in a while with strength. Wait for confirmation. It gets above 4 with strength. Confirmed. This might be a very good stock to get. It's just starting to hit the most red boards at the bottom of the list. Keep your eyes on AABB. Niche. What? Sick, dude. Like, so this is like, you get that? Like, see the pop here and then the drop there and the volume there. Why? And I can't zoom in either. That's just annoying. But niche, it did have how much volume? 9 million, so not like an amazing situation, but again, it's been oversold for a while. It did have a little bit of a pop. Your volume has been coming in semi recently, even though this is the weekly chart. It's obviously a lot more than when it was dead back here. So something might be brewing. Go find the rumor. Go find out if it's something that you want to buy. See when the next catalyst is due to arrive, and either buy or don't. Pick your spot. Get in. Get out. Period. Don't care what they're doing. Don't care if they're selling socks. Don't care if they're taking trips to Mars. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. And you might. and that's fine. Maybe this isn't the page for you, but for me, I don't care at all. Sorry about the chart. UNQL. Now this is the weekly again, so this is going to be trash again. This is going to piss me off now because what am I going to just go over a weekly chart on pretty much everything? This is an issue. I have different ways of looking at charts, so it just would take me too long. Either way, look, UNQL has been in a downtrend for quite some time. They Yeah, no, it's not going to give me something good here. But they've been in a downtrend for quite some time. I remember this run back here. I actually traded it. Then they diluted it to the core of the earth, which happens pretty much every time. And if I would have held, I would have went to the core of the earth to live with the devil and all of his demons. But I didn't, and I sold, and I took my lick, and I just let it go. I would have literally been sitting on dead money for years. But it is starting to get a little bit of interest. If you look at this on a daily chart, you'll be able to see that on a better situation, you'll be able to see that it's kind of been riding down on this downtrend. But again, keep these on your radar. Wait for them to confirm breaking out of that downtrend. Draw your triangle, your pennant, where the price seems to be hitting and getting smaller and smaller. Once it breaks out of that pennant, you could be bullish. And the chartists are going to come. They're going to see that. You're going to, as long as the stock has interest in it, it's a good chance that you're going to make money. Bior. I'm going to see if this works. All right, so we'll just go with the monthly here. Whatever. I'm like annoyed. We'll just go with the daily, whatever. Again, this is the weekly. I mean, look, just take it. You need the volume. There's so much better looks at this, and it's gonna piss me off. But I just got to keep going here. I got to get this done. It's already 6:30. Bior is heating up 14%. I hate to not be able to pull up a chart here because I want to show it to you. Your RSI is pulling up. This is the weekly. You're starting to get a very small push, but even on the weekly, your bands are pinched so much, and you're starting to get bullish. You're closing over the middle band. 312 is where it currently is. You're at 376. You're just starting to show steady accumulation towards the upside, and your resistance, realistically, I would say that probably close to $26. Now that's on the weekly. If you go on the daily, you're going to have a lower resistance than that. But just keep this one on your radar. If you're already in it, you're probably in the driver's seat, which is great. But this one's very beaten down and ready to go very soon, in my opinion. TRKA. Okay, finally it works. I guess I don't know. I don't understand it. I'm sorry. But either way, TRKA returned to the middle band like it did before, wrote it down, broke above it, wrote it down, hit it again. This is a stock that a lot of people are bagged in. They've been bagged in it for a while. I'll say this. I've said this a million times. I'll say it again. I told everybody to sell right below $1. Not a lot of people listened, and literally by that same day, it was all the way down at 42 cents at the low of the day. Absolutely incredible. Kept tanking very hard. That's a pump and dump, okay? So whether you like the company or not, and you're bagged, and you don't want to hear this, you're going to hear hard truths here. I'm sorry. If you're not willing to listen to the truth because you're so prideful and you're so arrogant, then this isn't the page for you. Get off. Go somewhere else and continue to lose money. But this is a pump and dump, and that's all that it is. I know that when it was up at 95, it was the next best thing since sliced bread, It was, going to $1 million. Everybody was going to be a billionaire. There was going to be a boat party in Vegas that everybody was invited to. And now look. But still, very tradable stock. Your RSI is starting to get hot. Get it into the 50 zone. You're going to be a lot better off. MACD, pretty solid, pretty low. Get above this middle band with some significance. Have some catalysts that are going to push the price. And there might be a tradable stock. That's it, though. That's it. Okay. I don't care what they do. Okay. I think they do NFTs, which I'm not even going to get into. SMX. Bought this one after hours on Friday. This is one that I made again. Flippers always win, dude. Flippers always win. Bought in at 96.5, sold at 188, ran to 240, didn't care. Next 4 days, it was back down below my average. So if I would have simply held, I would have missed out on over 100%. And even though I didn't sell for the peak, which was 150%, I still made 100% ROI in a day. Ask a loan shark if he gives people money and they give him back 100% money on that money in a day. Ain't gonna ever happen in real life. This is the market. It's almost unrealistic that you can make 100% on something on your money in a day. Okay, so remember that. Don't be a greedy bastard. Don't be a greedy bastardo. But that's all. That's it. So SMX. This is the chart on it. Boom, up, pull back. I missed this one, but I waited. Found it again, got it. Pull back now again. It will I'm pretty damn sure it's going to return to 122. So if you can day trade it, there you go. That's the middle band. It's oversold. 4 straight days of pretty heavy losses, 40%, 20%, 10%. Now it's starting to get a little bit too low. It's going to, that's all I'm looking for. I'm looking for 94, where I loaded after hours, pretty much at the low of the day. And I'm looking to sell 122. Okay, that's all I'm looking for. And guess what? That's 30%. And I'm very happy with that. So that's my play on SMX. Could very well likely run a lot higher than that. News changes everything. This thing is very thin and can go on massive runs, 400% and 200% respectively in the past 2-3 months. So obviously a very good tradable stock. Bopo, one I'm going to be watching Monday very closely. Very closely. You had the volume. Your MACD looks spectacular. If I could insert myself into this chart, I surely would. Your RSI looks very good. Now, remember, your volume was 420K, so it wasn't a massive amount. But people obviously took advantage and took gains. I would say you're looking for a gap fill here at 23 cents, and if you're lucky, you can get in at 22 on that middle band, and it keeps going. It went all the way up to 44 cents and closed at 27, right below this resistance line. It really doesn't want to get above that. It did touch, all the way up here at 47 cents. So this thing can move, and it can move on air. You just need the follow through. Not a lot of people know about this stock, so the herd's not there yet. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why it did get sold off. Either way, the news came out, and obviously people are going to sell the news for sure. But this chart looks really good. It looks like it's starting to get stair-stepped. Hopefully you just get a second leg, and that's what we're looking for. But I'm not going to buy unless it's 22 to 24 cents. That's the sweet zone, and I'll take my chances with that. TTCM, this isn't going to be a great chart. This is a stock that has a pretty cult following, probably because they're mostly demolished. This is a good chart. Look, pump, dump, pump, dump. Remember, if you bought right here on this run, let's say you bought on this day and you had an incredible trade, you went up over 100%, you didn't take advantage, you went red. And you probably sold down here. You went red. You could have been buying back for 2 times the amount of shares. But no, you sat on your hands and you believed the story and you got dumped on. You could have bought back 100% of the shares, because then you could have sold for the same amount just a couple of days later. And when it did pull back, I was telling people to buy here. I was saying this is probably a good buy. Boom. Ran pretty damn hard again. Could have taken advantage again. You didn't. Now it came back down. Now it's starting to get bullish again. Is it going to remain bullish for a third type run like this? Is it going to continue and make the edge of the W? I wouldn't say it's impossible, because your MACD looks sexual. Your RSI looks hot and heavy in the best of ways. And if you can just get another run to 18, you're only at 10. That's 80%. What else do you want? Don't get greedy because it will end up biting you in the butt. And a lot of people already know that. They might not admit it. But take my word for it, because I have so many bite marks on my bum, you could literally, like, I'm not even sure. VDRM. It could be an inverse head and shoulders here. Be careful of this, just in case that it doesn't always happen. So I wouldn't say necessarily be careful, but this and then pull back all the way down. GMZP looks a lot like that. That actually finished that. Now, that's my only bad thing about this. The good thing is it's entirely oversold. Your MACD's trying to turn up and go back green. Your RSI is real low and trying to curl up and go back green. It's been just accumulate on this bottom trend line. Get in at 1. I said 9.6 a few back when it was back here. I said I'm going for 9.6. Why did I say that? Because it was this previous resistance. It actually had an oversell down. That was just like a fluke, but it settled right on that 9.6. Now you're starting to curl back up. This could be one that you want to accumulate. Maybe even go for 20%, 109 to 129, which is that middle band that gets returned to, like the prodigal son from the Bible, to clean out the shed, mow the lawn, and do the dishes for mama and dada. But this looks good here. You just have to be careful and be nimble. GVSI. Again, a bottom pump dump. This was pumped into going pink current. It went pink current, and legacy owners were available to dump, so they did so, obviously. These are the shares that they wanted to cancel. I doubt that they're even still available because they've probably been sold into the market, and one of the people that bought own them now. I'm not sure that the share structure's changed, but I'm not exactly sure that that matters because they were already accounted for. That's why sometimes it's not just dilution, it's legacy owners dumping. The shares have already been converted and been sitting waiting for this situation. But it did dump back down, and now it's at a buy spot. You can accumulate here. 8 seems to be the exact, pretty much pure bottom. If people are, if they're invested, they're holding, they're going long. It's just a dead stock for the moment until George comes in and actually does a merger. If he does so, the price will run. If he cancels it and sells the shell, then you might be sitting in this for a lot longer than you already have. I wish you the best. I wish you the best. If I had a lot of money in my account, like hundreds of thousands of dollars, I'd put $5,000 in this and wait and take the chance. But that's the situation GVSI is in, and you can either believe me or you don't have to. Fine. I don't really care either way. That's a pretty good segue into the next stock because nobody's going to like my review of this, and I don't care. The permabulls on this are absolutely out of their mind. They're the most ignorant people on earth. They're the lowest IQ people on earth, and I know that pretty much everybody that's going to click on this video just turned it off, which is fine again. Because if you want to just follow what makes you feel good, if you want to just go on a page and want to get pumped into losing more money, if you just want to go to a page and have your little dinky fondled, then go lose money. Fine. But I'm going to tell you the truth, and I've been telling you the truth. I don't even know how long now, but trust me, it's way lower in price than when I started to talk about this stock. Trust me. I remember trading it back in the dollar range. They diluted all the way down to 5 cents. They reverse split, which they said they wouldn't. They're deleting things from their page that could be incriminating. Lawrence Harge is in a jumpsuit in a jail catching hepatitis C from a guy named Ed. And you guys are left to hold the bag. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but obviously you already know, because even if you're bullish on the boards, you're just in a bag and trying to get out of it. We all know that it's a bunch of crap. This thing is a piece of literal crap, and it's dilutive as hell. And they don't have anything. They're not going to be the next big EV company. I can promise you that. I do events for all the big EVs, Lucid, Polaris, all these, all the new and up and comers. Okay, I work with them directly. And even they're pieces of crap because they dilute. Because when you start a car company, you need money. to do that, right? Well, they're not going to get $10 million from the Saudis, right? Right. So believe what you want to believe, keep losing money, but I would have no doubt in my mind that you give this some more time, they'll dilute it all the way back down to the bottom of the barrel, and then they'll reverse split again. That's the hard truth. That's what long holders don't want to hear. And I'm not going to get any subscribers from this, but I hope that one person that's listening to this right now that was able to actually sit through that as an investor and actually look at the red flags and not just the green, then I've done my job. Moan is an absolute turd, and it always will be. It's not going to change your life. So that's my review. I told you Lawrence Harge was a scammer. Now he's nowhere to be found. Facebook was deleted. I told you that none of these deals were going to come through. None of them did. I told you that they were going to reverse split, and they did. I told you that the price was going to keep tanking, and it did. So if you want to keep listening to the people that are losing you money, so be it. I don't have time for you anyway. Imp. I've been saying imp is, it's kind of just been trading a range here. Needs to break out, needs to break through resistance. Also, my computer needs to work before I bash it into my own skull and kill myself slowly. Imp is... look, I mean, it went through a reverse split. It basically is, right back to previous resistance right there. But you're getting a lot of consolidation up high, kind of like you were back here. You just need to break through this. You need to break through like 350 with strength. And if you do that, next resistances are like 460, somewhere in that range, and 575. So you could go on a pretty good run here. It does have a W formation on the daily. Your technicals are not overbought in any sense of the word. So if you do get in on this breakout, you're going to have a little bit of room to run on your technicals. I love imp. I'm setting my alert for 350, and I'm keeping a close eye. COEP. This isn't going to be a good chart, but that's okay. I don't know much about this company. It was brought to my attention by one of my subscribers. It's really not that bad. Basically, what you're looking at is you're getting a lot of closes above this middle band, 165. Middle band is at 137, showing bullishness. Volume isn't an extreme amount. That's why it hasn't moved yet, but your technicals look really good. You just got to get some bullish push. I'm looking at, like, if you break in $2, you're probably going on a run. This is consolidated bottom for quite some time. Very tight, pinched bottom or Bollinger Bands. You just need one of these volume spikes to get it above with continued volume. You're just going to need the eyes on this. If the news comes out and nobody sees it, it's not going to affect the share price. Again, keeping my eyes on it, $2, and I go over my watch list every single day. So the day that it does start to get bullish, chances are I'll catch it. And that's why you have to put in that work to be able to see what's going on around you. GMZP. This one might be getting bullish again, might be looking to enter here. Seems like it's found a bottom, which was previously pretty much the bottom. Your technicals look incredible, absolutely beautiful on your RSI, or MACD, beautiful on your RSI, everything curling up. Volume is low. They're going to need to release some type of news. It could be anything. You're looking at a pretty solid 100% back to that middle band. I'd rather buy here than anywhere else. I bought it on this resistance break. I sold it. I waited, I got in, I made another 60%. Then I made the mistake of buying right here, even though it looked very bearish, and I knew that news was coming out, and I held through the news like a dum-dum, even though I didn't know when the news was coming, so I can't really blame myself that much. But either way, boom, tanked, and then I sold, obviously, once it started tanking. And then now it's come back to a point where you could make money on it again. So I do like GMZP here. I like it at 16 or anywhere in this range. It's going to be tough to get a good amount of shares to start accumulating, in my opinion. DVLP, another good example of why, this is why I don't hold stocks. That might be your strategy. You might hold for dear life. You might be a hodler. You might be a diamond hand dealer. That's fine. I'm not. And it just seems to be that's the way to make money. And the reason is, boom, sell it, boom, sell it, boom, sell it. And it's been trading pretty much sideways in a tight channel. Now is another time to buy. I do think that it eventually is going to get above this, but you're going to need to see some very strong volume going above 6. That's going to carry you there. Then you can start talking about 8. Then you could start talking about 13.4. But, you know, until that happens, until it gives me confirmation that this stock is turning bullish on the chart, I'm not choosing to buy. Now, it could very well be at a spot that is a very good place to buy. This seems to be kind of the trend, right? Well, you're kind of maybe over the next couple of days, you get in it, and then you wait for it to go up to 6, and then you make a decision whether to sell or not. I would. And then if it continues, then you can always buy back higher. DVLP, I wish you guys the best. I'll be back probably eventually on a resistance break, and I'll see you then. Hiru. I've talked about this company a little bit. I do like it. The fact that they're not just a scam. They actually have a product that I've seen in stores, which is very rare in the OTC as it is. The reason why it's been busted down so bad is because of dilution, because a lot of these companies need money. You're not getting the best rates nowadays, especially from the private equity companies that these companies are getting their loans from. It's toxic lending. It should be illegal, but it's not, because there's a tribe that runs it, that runs this entire country, and they can do whatever they want because they're in control. But this thing, forming a W here, want to get above 2.6, then you want to get above 3. You get above 3, you could start talking about 4 or 5, somewhere in that range. I do like the technicals. Volume's pretty solid, not anything to write home about, but you do have your technicals looking good. You just got to get this a little bit hotter here. You got to get a little bit more of a spark and a little bit more volume, and Hiru could get on my radar. Jagax. Might have missed this one, not exactly sure. I'm going to look at the chart right now. Pull back a little bit after hours. I mean, this thing looks really good. It's so pinched. It's so pinched. You're not overbought on any type of technical. Holy hell, you had a huge volume day. Oh my God, the other day. But that's what it took to get, like, that is a massive volume day, because these days were massive volume days. Unbelievable. Jagex, I know you can't really see on this chart. I would wait for a pullback to 62. Probably not going to get it. Or a break of 130, somewhere in that range. You break out from 130 with volume and confirmation, I'm in. You pull back to 62, I'm in. Either one comes first, I'm a buyer. GNS. Just found out that one of the main pumpers on that board literally is trading with $100, and that's another thing, is you could be following these people. They might have a lot of followers because people follow them just because they're bullish as hell, and that's the reason why they follow them. But you got to really be careful about who you're talking to, because if you're buying $10,000 worth of stock, let's say, and you're listening to somebody that's trading with $100, they're not looking. If you're trading with $100, you know, what are you doing anyway? Whatever, do whatever you want. If you only have $100, fine. Okay, but I'm saying your strategy is going to be different. You're not going to look for 5% on. That's like basically your trade fee. So you're going to be going for the massive. You want to take that 100. You're just gambling. You're gambling $100. It doesn't matter. It's not life-changing money. It's not your life savings. Yeah, that might all be you have an account, but you also might be 16 trading with $100, and you're listening to somebody like that for advice. I didn't know that this guy had a little bit of money in there. Now I found out, and I'm just like, oh my God, that's unbelievable, because he's one of the biggest pumpers and probably has caused hundreds of thousands of dollars in losses, because a lot of people listen to people like that, not knowing who they are behind the alias. But this is a prime example of the herd coming in, getting dumped on, and now it's lost all its interest, all its volume. It was going to $60 back in the day. It was going to the all-time highs. It was the next best thing. It was the best stock to ever exist. Now you have a lot of bag holders on that page that are going to click off this video because I'm not bullish. I keep continuing to say that because it's the most true statement I've ever said. But that's fine. I'm going to sit here and tell the truth because it's all that I can do. Otherwise, I turn to stone. You guys know that. So, look, I'll give you this. It is pinching on the bands. Your technicals are oversold and turning up. You do still have a lot of people that are bagged in this and want to get out. It might, once you start to get this thing getting bullish, it's trying to break out of this downtrend, which is good. Give me a bullish candle. Give me something that's breaking out a little bit here, so it looks like it's going to start to go up again, and I might buy, okay? But you should have sold back at 750 where I told you to. But you listened to the two main pumpers on there who probably don't have any money in it as it is, or have $100 in it, and you lost all your money, significant money, and that's a problem. GRPS. Think about all the other stocks you could have invested in. Think about if you would have just taken your 10% loss and wrote it off. Think about all the months that you would have been able to trade money. Now, I like GRPS. I don't like that there's an extreme amount of volume. I'll have to go to the page and see, or one of the boards, and find out why this is down so significantly, if there's a reason for it. If there's not, I'm going to be thinking to maybe accumulate a little bit down here because it is oversold. Every time it kind of tends to get oversold like this, boom. Like this, not necessarily boom, but still you get at the bottom here and you get a little bit. Now here's the thing, it only has 1.4 million in volume. The other day it had about 10 million in volume. So you hope that it has another strong down day on Monday. You keep your eyes on it. You get 10 million in volume. Maybe you can grab a snake, a couple few at the bottom, and sell once it gets back to this middle band, because right now as it stands, it is a little bit oversold. So we'll keep watching. Circ. Yeah, I mean, this could be a more long-term hold. I don't tend to hold anything long because I just don't want to sit on dead money for any amount of time. I want my capital to be usable, But here's the thing: is I called it back here when it was breaking through this middle band. It was a much better looking chart. Again, my time frames are all screwed up. Going to have to work on that. But either way, you got above it. You got bullish. You got 25% after my call. But that's kind of all I looked for anyway. It just never got super bullish. The volume was always there, but it just never really got going. This could be back at a time to buy. It was at 4. When was the time to sell? And now it's back at 2. So it's a 50% haircut, and it could be a good time to buy again. GDVM. This is riding below this middle band. It keeps getting rejected at it every time it gets there. Tried to get it here, didn't get it. Tried to close above it, didn't get it. Tried to get there, getting rejected again. That's not the best look. You want to get bullish. You got to break out of this downtrend, and you got to start to get steamy if you can, and you can get above 8. You can ride back up to the top now, or this previous resistance somewhere in that range, probably around 10. If you're looking to scalp, that's a good 20%. But it's I don't know if it's a failed merger, but I think it was actually back here. But it never really. It's slowly bleeding, which is surprising. There could be some type of crumb that's still on the table. That's why people are staying in this and waiting. But you just don't want to see something like this and come all the way back down. I did know somebody was up 100,000% in this and they weren't selling, which is one of the most insane things I've ever seen in my life. I've never seen that type of gain. If this comes all the way back down to his average, think about that. He probably had one of the greatest trades to ever exist, literally on planet Earth, in his fingertips. And he may have blown that. That's like literally like having Halle Berry, even though I don't even think she's hot. That's just like the first person that came to mind in your bed and you can't get hard. Nightmare, nightmare. Literally nightmare fuel. CLNV. Looks very similar. Huge runs. A lot of opportunities to buy and sell, buy the pullback, sell the top, buy the pullback, sell the top, buy the pullback, sell the top, buy the pullback, sell the top. And now you're not going to get the top and you're not going to get the perfect pullback, but if you were trading in this range, you would have made a lot of money rather than just holding. Let's say you bought here randomly because you had no strategy, and then it went up and you had all these opportunities to sell and buy back, and instead now you're below your average. That's an issue. You waited for 6 months just to lose money. You can't do that. That's why holding in the OTC never seems to work. When it was up here, one of my subscribers, probably isn't anymore, it was saying it's going back to the 52-week high, or not 52-week, like the all-time high, which was up near like $50 or whatever, probably when it had a much thinner share structure and a completely different company in the shell almost probably. And then, it didn't go back. to the 50-week high or 52 or all-time high. Instead, it just continually bled out. I don't know what's coming up in this. You are sitting at a previous resistance, so that's good news. You're just going to need something bullish to come out to get this, on the ball again. It'll just be done. DPLM holding pretty steady up here. I might not get that gap fill right away, but that's where I'm buying. I'm either buying there. I don't think it's going to get there. Or I'm going to buy the 11 break. If the 11 breaks and it breaks hard, that probably means that they got the settlement. I'll look at how much they got. I'll decide there. This, pullback and this consolidation has allowed your technicals to kind of cool off. I do think that it's going to take a little bit more time. I think you have a couple weeks to wait. If you have the patience, I think it will pay off. I do like PLM. I like it actually a lot. This is something that I'm going to be paying attention to every day, regardless of what it's doing. NVOS called the drop, closed below the middle band. That's a problem. Coming back down to previous lows. 11 cents is my target. 1070 to 11 cents. I sold 17. I was called a dum dinkus. I was called a retarded little shoe. And that's fine because it did go to 19. But again, you're not always going to buy the bottom and you're not always going to sell the top. In fact, if you do, you made one of the best trades you're ever going to make. I've probably done it, bottom or top, maybe 20 times out of 1,500 times. Easily, like literally, the chances are like so slim. So, I'll sell the 17 and watch it go to 19. Okay, I'll watch it go to $1 million. Don't matter to me. I made my money. It's in the bank. And people who hold, like the guy who sent me a picture of his account up $206,000 when it was roaring. Hey, you want to show me that picture again? Well, how's those paper gains looking? Did it all burn up? You were up $200,000, enough to buy a house in pretty much every state, and you didn't do it? Hey, everybody's got a different account. He said he didn't need the money. Maybe he's, the son of a rich billionaire. I don't care. All I know is if I'm up that much money in a stock, I've already sold it. I'm not even waiting to make that much because I'm obviously sitting on a lot of cash. I'll wait to get that 30%, take 30 grand. Boom, out. Now he's going to have to go red and be sitting there like, oh my God, I had $250,000 in the bank and I didn't do it. And I could have bought $500,000 worth of stock. Now I can only buy back now I'm just sitting on my hands and now I'm probably just going to sell the bottom and he's probably going to sell to me. And that's how the market works. Period, done, deal. That's it. DPLS. Again, if I'm bearish on a board, get out. Just get out because I'm not bearish a lot, but when I am, I'm 25 for 25. Can't miss. DPLS, tight, close watch. One of my picks for this week. I think this is about to get lit because I just really like the chart. I like the pop. I like the pullback to fill the gap, the steady rise, consolidation over an entire week. Get back to this. Create a higher high, get a pullback, riding this trend line. I'm looking to get in pretty early on Monday and seeing where it goes from there. If it does break this trend line, it might be pulling back down to 6-1. So I'm probably going to watch it, make sure that bottom holds. Even if I have to wait through the day, make sure it's bullish. If you get a close at above 1 again, I think you're gone, and I think you're gone to 2. I really like this one. I might load extremely heavy if this breaks. And I'm just going to watch it all day tomorrow. And I'm going to keep cash on the side. And this might be the only thing I look at is just watching this, looking at the inflow, looking at the outflow, seeing how it's looking. Is the volume there? Is it closing good at the end of the day? Boom, I'll hit it. And then it's pretty much a done deal. You know what I mean? Okay, that's it. I'm about to pass out. I'm so tired. It's unbelievable. But until next time, uh, just gauge the sentiment. Gauge the sentiment. Know how to do it. I hope that you watched the beginning of this video because if you haven't and you're here, go back and watch it. It is one of the most important things I've ever said on the internet, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. It is what makes the difference, in my opinion. So have a good weekend. This will probably be up pretty late tonight, so keep your eyes peeled. Whatever, dude. I'm so tired. Bye.